I wish, maybe we wish, that every child, everywhere around the world, had the chance to read books, to read as many books as they wanted to. You can read as many books as you want to here in Exeter. You can get books from the library. Fantastic. But there are some children in some parts of the world who can't get books right now. Wouldn't it be wonderful if every child could live in safety and have a chance for all of the education they deserve? I'm going to tell a story to begin today that I learned from a really good friend of mine. Her name is Sirin and she's a teacher. She teaches English in Gaza, in Palestine. And about 4 years ago, she was doing a storytelling course with me. Can you imagine? She was learning to be a storyteller, but she was already brilliant. And she told us this story, and she said, please, David, tell everyone you meet this beautiful story. In the story, there is a storyteller, and his name is Zarif Al Toul. Can you say that? Zarif Al Toul. Brilliant. In the story, there is a beautiful girl, and her name is Saraya. Saraya. And in the story, there is a horrible, monstrous ghoul that lives under the sea. Can you say ghoul? I think we're ready for the story. I say story, story. You say tell us a story. Story, story. Tell us a story. Kanya Makan Fikadim as a band. What language is that? Could it be Arabic? Kanya Makan Fikadim as a man. Once, long ago, there was not a girl called Saraya. Saraya left her home in Haifa. Every day, Saraya walked along the rocky shore. And Saraya had long, night black hair. Can you say that? Long, night black hair. She loved to sing. And she sang to the sea. And the waves rose and crashed. But as she sang, the waves died down. The sea became smooth. Because her song was so soft and gentle. One day when she was walking away from her home in Haifa, along by the rocky shore, and she was singing to the sea, she heard a voice. Saraya, Saraya, loved by the ghoul, marry me. Saraya, hearing this, said, I will only marry one I love with all my heart. The next day, as she was walking by the rocky shore, from the deep sea, she heard that same ghoulish voice. Can you say it? Saraya, Saraya, loved by the ghoul, marry me. Saraya answered the same as the day before. She said, I will only marry one I love with all my heart. The next day, the same thing as she walked along the shore. Saraya, Saraya, loved by the ghoul, marry me. And she answered, I will only marry one I love with all my heart. Well, the ghoul could not bear it any longer. And the next day, he cried, Saraya, Saraya, loved by the ghoul, marry me. And before she could answer, the ghoul shot out from under the waves, huge, monstrous, green, burning red eyes and powerful. And he seized Saraya before she could answer, and he carried her up, 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 up to Jadallah great mountain. There on the top of Jadallah, the ghoul built a tower made of stone, and the sides were sheer. And at the top of that high tower that almost reached the clouds, there was a window, not glass, but open. And there he placed Saraya. I will come every night. And he disappeared down into the sea. Saraya was all alone at the top of that tower. She could not climb down. There was no escape. There was no door at the bottom. She could see in the distance the town of Haifa, where her dear family lived. But she couldn't get back to them. Oh, she was stranded all alone. The sea was rough, but you know what she did? She sang. And the waves stopped breaking, and the sea became smooth and calm. As the sun went down at the end of the day, the ghoul returned from the sea, climbing out, up the rocky shore, up Mount Carmel, and reached that tower. And at the bottom of that stone tower, the ghoul cried, Saraya, Saraya, let down your long night black hair. Saraya had no choice. She untied her hair and let it tumble down the outside of that tall tower to the bottom. It was so long. And the heavy ghoul climbed up her hair. Oh, it was painful for her. And when the ghoul entered into that window, he brought good food from the sea, fine clothes as a gift for Saraya, and said, Saraya, Saraya, loved by the... And you know what she said? I will only marry one I love with all my heart. I bring you food, I bring you clothes, and still you will not marry me. And at the end of the night, before the sun rose, the ghoul climbed down her hair to the bottom of the mountain and returned to the sea, because she could not leave the sea while the sun was in the sky. This went on night after night. Oh, Saraya had food, she had clothes, but she did not love the ghoul. Now at that time, in that land, there lived a storyteller, and his name was Zarif Al Toul.
Zarif Al Toul.
How Zarif Al Toul loved to tell stories. He left his home, he walked, and everywhere he stayed, he told stories, and the people gave him food and good things to drink and a bed to sleep in. And one day, Zarif Al Toul was walking near that place, along the shore, along that beautiful rocky shore, when he heard the most beautiful song. What a voice! It drifted from the high mountain, Jadallah al-Karmi. He could see a tower. I'd never seen a tower there before. And he went up that mountain to the bottom of the tower and listened, and the song was so beautiful. But he could find no way into that tower. There was no door. He could see the face of Saraya, and it was round and glowing white like the moon. She was so lovely. He felt his heart pounding in his chest. He hid among rocks. And that night, as the sun went down and it became dark, he saw the strangest of sight, Out of the sea climbed the monstrous ghoul, all green skin, red burning eyes, powerful and hairy. And the ghoul climbed up the mountain, up to that tower. And Zarif Al Toul watched and heard as the ghoul cried. Can you remember what the ghoul cried? Saraya, Saraya, let down your long night black hair. Let's say it together. Saraya, Saraya, let down your long night black hair. And Saraya let her hair come tumbling down the outside of the tower. And the ghoul climbed. And Zarif Al Toul says, this is how I will get to her. He waited. He waited such a long time. All through the night. He saw the great moon in the sky. But he could not stay awake. He fell asleep. And then, before dawn, before the sun rose, he opened his eyes and he saw that ghoul climbing down Saraya's long night black hair down to the bottom. He saw the ghoul go into the sea. And Zarif Al Toul said, now it's my chance. He went to the bottom of the tower and he called, Saraya, Saraya, let down your long night black hair. There was nothing. Try again. Saraya, Saraya, let down your long night black hair. Perhaps I should call louder. You help me. Saraya, Saraya, let down your long night black hair. And the black hair came tumbling down. And Zarif Al Toul began to climb hand over hand up that long black hair. Oh, it was high, reaching to the clouds. But did he give up? No. And when he reached that window, in he climbed. And Saraya, oh, who are you? You are not the ghoul. I thought the ghoul had come back. You are not as heavy as the ghoul. I am Zarif Al Toul. I heard your song. You are a wonderful singer. And who are you? I am Zarif Al Toul. I am a storyteller. If you are a storyteller, then tell me a
Story.
I will. And there, at the top of the tower, Zarif Al Toul began. Canyon McCann, Tickedim as a man. There was and there was not. And he began his tale. And he wove spells and magic into his story. And Saraya was entranced by the story. It was so wonderful. Her imagination flew, just like yours does when you listen to stories. And when he reached the end of the story and finished, she said, oh, please tell me another. Rather, said Zarif Al Toul, would you sing a song for me? And Saraya sang. It was so lovely, so gentle and soft. And down below, the sea became calm. And when she finished her song, he began another story. Canyon McCann Tickedim. And on the story went. And after the story, she sang and then there was a story, and then another, and then another, and then another. And all through the day, story and song. And they forgot the passing of time. They were so enchanted by each other. They had forgotten, but you haven't. At the end of the day, as the sun went down, who came out of the sea? Ghoul! And the ghoul, huge, powerful, and dangerous, came to the stone tower and cried.
Saraya.
Everybody, Saraya, Saraya, let down your long night black hair. And before she could stop herself, Saraya had let her hair come falling down from the top of the tower, and the monstrous ghoul climbed up. Oh, what am I going to do? And the ghoul came in through the window. Who is this? This is Zarif Al Toul, said Saraya. Zarif Al Toul, you let him in. I bring you food. I bring you fine clothes from under the sea. And you deceived me. Saraya, I will destroy him. Oh, please, no, said Saraya. Because Zarif Al Toul, I love him with all my heart. You love him. And the ghoul seized Zarif Al Toul, was about to cast him out of the tower, when she cried, can I do, please, please, don't hurt him. Then you must marry me. Zarif Al Toul said, no, but she said, to save him, I will marry you, ghoul. And the ghoul picked up Saraya, and they threw themselves from the tower. They flew down and splashed into the sea. Zarif Al Toul could not bear it. How could he let Saraya be married to that monster? He jumped from the tower, crashed to the rocks below, bruised, battered, cut, bleeding. Climbed to his feet, staggered down from Jabal al-Karmi, down to the rocky shore he climbed, and then he dived from the rocks and under the sea. He swam down and found a beautiful cave. He hid. In the cave there were curtains of emerald green seaweed that moved with the waves. The cave was decorated with shining pearls, bigger than you have ever seen. And there was Saraya and the ghoul. And Zarif Al Toul heard the ghoul say, Saraya, we will be married. I now go to invite all of the ghouls of the sea to our wedding. Wait here. And off swam the ghoul. This was Zarif Al Toul's chance. He swam out from his hiding place. He said, Saraya, swim. And out of the cave they swam, and up, and to the surface of the sea. And when they broke the surface, they could breathe the air, swim. And they swam from that place towards the shore, towards the town of Haifa, where Saraya's family were. But that's not the end of the story, is it? Because the ghoul returned to his cave, and finding Saraya gone, and accompanied with all of the ghouls of the sea, he flew into a fury, and all of the ghouls swam after. And as they swam, the sky grew dark, the clouds covered, and the sea began to rise huge swells, and the waves crashed over Saraya and Zarif Al Toul. Surely they will drown. What can we do, oh Zarif Al Toul? And he said, dear Saraya, you know what you must do.
Sing.
Everybody.
Sing.
Saraya sang. You know what happened? The rough sea became calm. And as the ghouls swam after them, the ghouls were not fast enough, for already they had reached the shore of Haifa. They climbed out, and it was daylight, and The ghouls could not leave the sea. And they went to her home in Haifa, to her family. And when Zarif Al Toul and Saraya told their story, oh, Saraya's family, they loved Zarif Al Toul. They welcomed him into the heart of their family. And the young man and the young woman were married. And there they lived, safe and happy ever after. This is the story of Zarif Al Toul, Saraya, and the monstrous ghoul, a story told, and I learned it, we learned it, from a teacher called Sirin from Gaza in Palestine. Thank you very much.